This is the ARP 2600M from Korg. Now, to back up a bit first, in 2015, Korg announced that they had consulted with original ARP co-founder David Friend to bring back into production the Odyssey for the first time since 1981. There were subsequently 3 formats. In 2020, Korg announced they were producing a limited edition run of the legendary ARP 2600 in full scale, and it won Best in Show at NAMM and sold out immediately. There then persisted a rumour that a smaller version was also coming, and sure enough, in January 2021, Korg announced the 2600M, and now it's here. So the 2600M is fully analog and uses the same circuitry as the 2600 full size, the only differences being that, for obvious reasons, it has a smaller spring reverb, it doesn't have the 3620 keyboard, and due to this has a mod CV out on the front panel and then a 3-way multiple instead of a 4-way. It just has MIDI in and not out or through, and has 1/4-inch jack outputs instead of XLR. Other than that, it's exactly the same synth, just smaller. The package includes a Korg MicroKey 37, a software bundle, some ARP stickers, and a very swanky ARP branded suitcase that I think is a fantastic touch. Now, the original 2600 is quite big, and so there is scope to make it smaller without making it small. In fact, the 2600M is about the same size as a cab of System 100M or an original MS-20, neither of which I've ever heard described as small. In fact, I like using the features on the far left of the 2600, and to patch those to the filter or VCA on the original involves some pretty long cables, so making the whole thing roughly shoulder width is actually very convenient. Talking of using the features on the left-hand side, let's run a guitar through it. The 2600 includes 2 filters that you can switch between, and these mirror the 4012 and 4072 designs of the originals. I don't have any vintage 2600s here to compare, but I do have a vintage Mark II Odyssey with the 4035 filter and Avatar with the 4072, which are the equivalents, so we can get some kind of idea of the difference. Whilst this isn't a like-for-like comparison, for what it's worth, I think you can hear the difference between the Odyssey and the Avatar when the filter's open. The Avatar is just a bit darker. This is the same on the 2600M, but overall it's just a touch heavier on the bottom and brighter on the top than the Vintage 2, but that might just be because they're very old now. Ultimately, I think they all sound fantastic. Some other updates on the original, it includes MIDI DIN and MIDI over USB, as well as the original CV and gate inputs, so there are 3 different ways you can control it, making it very convenient for both studio and live use. So there we go, the ARP 2600M from Korg. I've had a whale of a time doing this video. It can be punchy, powerful, aggressive, gnarly, weird, funky, expressive, beautiful, all the things you'd want a 2600 to be, which I think reflects the genius of the original engineers who designed the ARP 2600 and Korg's ability to recapture that. I think they've done a sterling job. If you push me to say anything negative about it, it would have been nice to have a 3620 keyboard, but I can appreciate they can't scale that down to 60% and it be a viable product. So less of a criticism and more of a pointing out of what's really the only compromise of it being this scale, and ultimately it has MIDI, USB, CV and gate and a micro key, so it's not like you can't play it. Huge thank you to Korg. Thank you to, of course, the original ARP guys, the Alan R. Perlman Foundation who keep that story alive, and to you for watching.
Thank you.